Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist, and for Monster Stock, we have some guests.
Ooh, hello. For Monster Stocks, I'm Kyle Cardi.
That's the most horrifying thing.
Welcome to the true horror.
And I'm Noah Carden.
I think I spoke too directly into the microphone.
Just a little bit.
Ooh, what's this? So why are we here, Review Cultist?
Well, we're gonna do
Why have you summoned us?
Yes, I have summoned thee for, we're gonna be doing, some Vengeful Spirits, as we talked about last episode, when we were on
Months
Monster
ago.
Stocks. Yeah. Because we can't, schedules.
It's been wild. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Has everyone prepared a spooky, vengeful spirit?
Yep.
Listener at home, a peek behind the curtains. The answer to that question is yes, we have. That's called pre-pro. Who wants to do it first?
I kind of want to know more about this, the one that Noah was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, Noah sort of hit us with this one.
So the vengeful spirit I have come upon is and forgive me any Scottish listeners, but a glaistig, which
I don't speak it, so I hope that's accurate.
it is Scottish, Celtic, or Gaelic.
Yeah.
I always forget how those terms work. But anyway,
like how the language.
It's a type of fuath, which I'm told is a hate.
Like the word is just hate, and like does that refer to like a subgenre of ghost?
I wonder if that's like a grudge.
Fuath or vo is like the phonetic transcription apparently. It literally means hate in Scottish Gaelic.
Okay.
And it's a type of like spirit, typically like a water spirit or something like that. But a glaistig is typically some sort of like very beautiful, like ghostly woman that appears, but also has like kind of fawn-like features. Like her lower half is like kind of like goat-leggy and stuff like that, but it's hidden behind these green robes and dresses, and they one version of these spirits is the Green Lady, who is
Okay.
who haunt. Like apparently, there's a bunch of them that haunt a bunch of castles all over Scotland.
So my question is: are there plural Green Ladies, or is there just like the one?
The Green Lady Collective.
Yeah.
So
are they a band?
It's from what I can tell. It is basically there is a Green Lady, and that is a type of spirit.
Okay, so it's like the equivalent of like a banshee, where it's like you just are a Green Lady, sort of like the woman in white from Central American and South North American folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. And there's apparently a bunch of that haunt a bunch of different castles. It's always like the ghost of a mortal noblewoman who was cursed or murdered or something like that, and is then haunts the particular place where she's died.
Is she a Shakespeare? Like, is she a Hamlet? Or the other one where all those nobles get murdered?
Macbeth?
There's a couple, I think.
King Lear, Macbeth.
Yeah.
I'm a Philistine.
There's apparently in some stories, like she's murdered, like the noblewoman is like murdered while she's wearing a green dress, and then stuffed in a chimney by like a servant.
What the fuck? How do you become a water ghost then? Scotland?
Well, I think it's just kind of like they all kind of fall under
An elemental
like this
type.
kind of umbrella term, and
Okay.
then you can kind of be cursed or be like tricked by a fairy or something kind of like that into becoming a green lady. So yeah, so
dig
that's
it.
kind of my thing.
It's my whole steez.
And she just haunts like the castles.
Yeah, so apparently like they almost always like show up in castles and things like that. There's actually a list of them, like the Green Lady of Fivey, Ashantully Castle, Ballandaloch. Okay, this is a good one. Green Lady of the Barony of Ladyland, which
What?
yeah.
The Barony of Ladyland.
Yeah, there's also the Green Lady of Castle of Craith's Castle, which is the one I linked to you earlier with the really neat art and the cool website.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that
a pretty good
website's
website.
beautiful.
Scottish folklore.
Yeah, that one is actually apparently she was a servant girl who fell pregnant out of wedlock and fled the castle, never be seen again. And like the spirit that haunts the castle, like appears in like this one particular room with a fireplace, and she's cradling like an infant in her arms and things like that. So,
That's pretty interesting. When you brought up these green ladies and were like, they are water spirits, my whole head brain did go in a different direction, and I did start thinking that they were covered in algae.
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think you
Could be
could
kind of
do
a
something
cool
like
visual.
that.
Yeah.
I sort of thought it was like, oh, is this like the Green Man's counterpart kind of thing?
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. I dig her. Okay, I mean, I guess I'll go. Do we want to, like... What do you want to do, boss?
Yeah, actually, I think, well, since that's from Scotland, I guess a segue might be to go to St. John's in Newfoundland, since there's a lot of Irish and Scottish people that moved to Canada from there.
Ooh.
And then we go down to America afterward.
What a delicious tidbit. Hey, Canada, why don't you tell us what's going on up in our friendly neighbor to the north?
Well, so a year ago or so, I went to Newfoundland to St. John's, and they have a badass fucking haunted hike, where three individuals started it. Two of which I believe are clergymen, and one of them is literally a folklore professor from the local university.
I thought you were going to say two of which are already dead. And I was like, this is about to get fucking wild.
Yes, we actually are toured by ghosts.
Dude, I would
Oh,
pay
man.
top dollar.
But that tour's been closed for 10 years.
The tour itself is haunted.
And yeah, so they do this haunted hike, especially for St. John's, because it is one of our oldest cities, and apparently our bloodiest and most haunted, as they advertise. And one of the stories that stuck out to me, was she doesn't have a name, but I've named her the Duchess of Duckworth.
Oh boy!
primarily be-
alliteration,
Yeah.
haunting.
Well, the guy led us down an area like a bunch of old world streets, basically, but they're basically alleyways now between buildings. And he took us past the Duke of Duckworth, which is a very popular tavern in St. John's, and took us down an alleyway past that. And then got us-
did you get mugged?
no. Well, there was at least 3 dozen of us, so it wasn't going to happen.
That would be some efficient criminals. I will say that.
The haunted hike's just a cover for a mugging factory. It's just just put them down the conveyor belt and just mug.
The whole town's in on it. That's why they say that, the tour has been closed for 10 years and that you went on a ghost tour. Because legally, you cannot sue a ghost.
Yes, clearly.
These are rules.
But, so, the guy had us all there, and then he told us about, mentioned about the Duke of Duckworth and how it's a great popular place, and it has its own ghost, a ghost that, lurks in the upper the window above the door and just waves to passerbys. But then he mentions this other ghost from another tavern that doesn't exist anymore. But at the turn of the century, there was this bar of ill repute from one end of the city to the other called Simpson's Tavern. And it seems a ghost haunted it that would seek out basically the delinquent and the people, like the guys who were not on the up and up when it came to the ladies. So
folks who do deserve that.
Yes.
Or are we just talking about like serial philanderers who just have, everyone agrees on it, sexy times? Or are we talking about people that do deserve a ghost bullet?
The one that do deserve a ghost bullet, because the story goes...
Fuck 'em.
This guy,
this is a good ghost.
Yeah. This guy named O'Hare, who was a terrible man, was coming out of the bar, out of Simpson's Tavern with some friends, and he said he was going to go down this alleyway because he saw this nice pretty girl, and wanted to make his way with her. So he went out there, and his buddies just kind of left him. And then a few moments later, they heard a blood-curdling scream, and they rushed to go find out what was going on, along with a bunch of other tavern goers. And what they found was O'Hare on the ground, choking in his own blood, as his throat had been ripped out. And there was a ghost girl, or a young girl in a white dress, covered in blood, from her mouth down to her gown, just sneering over his body, levitating over his body, and stared at the onlookers before she vanished.
Hell yes. Slay him queen.
Yes.
Fuck yes, girl. Get it.
Yeah.
I'm so here for this fucking Duchess.
Yeah. And again, we don't, the story they didn't really give me any, a proper name for the ghost girl, aside from just a girl in a white dress who apparently vampirizes, wicked men. So I kind of came up with the name Duchess of Duckworth based off of the tavern that we were right next to, which was the Duke of Duckworth. So. See,
and that is I like that name. That feels like a good spirit name. I grew up near a lot of local urban myths about spirits, and alliteration, if you can do it, you should do it as a rule of thumb, is my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty, it was pretty wild, when I heard of that. And so it got my brain, going. We'll talk about it a little bit later, in the show, but I actually have some ideas for using her in games as well as maybe stories.
Okay.
So.
I dig it. So, let's pop on down to the state that everyone likes to make fun of, despite it being full of beautiful natural vistas. We're going to take a detour to New Jersey, which is superior to New York in every fucking way. Do not at me about this.
You have severely underestimated the appeal of the Garden State.
Dog.
I mean,
if you only go through Elizabeth and Trenton and shit, it's a hellhole.
Yeah,
but
Trenton makes the world takes.
Okay, so we got married in Pennsylvania, right across from the drive back. We passed through Trenton, and I had never fucking seen that sign. And one of the guys I was driving with, my roommate at the time, he was like, "Yeah, you've never seen that?" So we did stop to look at it, and I was like, "That is the most industrialized New Jersey shit I've ever seen in my life." That is exactly the fucking attitude of people from Trenton. They're the worst.
So real quick, apparently it was supposed to be the opposite, and it's supposed to be an actually kind of positive message, but just the way that it played out.
Yeah. It was production is what it originally was, because I looked into it afterwards. But we're not going to fucking dirty boy Trenton. We're driving towards central New Jersey. That's right, everyone else in New Jersey. Central New Jersey is real.
It's a place.
A little bit closer to South North Jersey or North Central Jersey. That's right, we're getting granular. Outside of New Brunswick, we're going to go ahead and pull up into the rural Hillsborough Township. Oh, Hillsborough Township, I want to talk to you about the legend of Pig Lady. That's right, fuckers.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
in when I was growing up, 90s, 2000s, the aughts, or whatever we want to call them, the big thing that a lot of people talked about in high school, like from 2004 to 2008-ish, the hot shit was urban legends and horror stories from around New Jersey, and shit got embellished. There's like a magazine that comes out. I think they have a couple collected books, Weird New Jersey. That's like the entry-level shit. I think they did do a couple write-ups of this, but like most of my exposure to these stories were all word of mouth, just like literal, oh, my friend of a friend told me this thing, and it's all baloney. But the way that these stories were digested was always really fun. So Pig Lady, God, I cannot stop coughing. In Hillsborough Township, like in the early 1900s, I think, there was this like murder. And it was associated with this woman called the Pig Lady, which was just kind of like a mean thing. I don't really know why she called it, but it was like a fairly famous trial where they kept wheeling her in because she was like dying. She was like accusing some people of doing a murder. And this happened in Hillsborough, so a lot of people, like, after the fact, like, when I started to, like, research it, attribute the Pig Lady to this. But the Pig Lady myth itself revolves around a woman with a pig face. Sometimes she might have, like, pig feet instead of people feet. A lot of the times it might just be a mask of pig skin. But the various interpretations of the stupid urban legend go that a child was born, like a female child, who, for some reason, either their parents were dead or their parents hated them and, like, left them in a pig sty, like a literal pig sty where little oinkos hanged out. She grew up around pigs and sort of identified with these pigs. Some say that it was because she was part pig. Other people just because of like horrible, not very fun to talk about child abuse. But the story sort of continues from there that the Pig Lady eventually began to commit just a series of grisly axe murders. And they say, that she was, like, the manifested spirit of this child or, this, like, pig-people hybrid who would stalk this road that colloquially became known as Pig Lady Road, where if you call out to her, you do summon her, much like the Candy Man, and she does try to fuck you up with an axe. If you're in a car, you'll see her in the woods. It's just a classic Americana myth. It's got, making fun of someone who might have an unfortunate physical disability. It's got, spooky ghosts. It's got child abuse. It has an axe, and it has unsubstantiated claims.
Yeah.
And a roadside summoning.
And roadside summonings, which there's a lot of roadside summonings in New Jersey. There's a lot of ways to summon shit on the side of the road. But Pig Lady is something that I would describe as a vengeful spirit because there are some people. The story that I specifically heard was that she was an abused child who did die and then did come back. Wear the face of a pig, and then did vengefully murder her terrible parents, which, like, is fine. I'm sorry you had to die. But, like, the legend I am mostly familiar with is Vengeful Spirit. And that is Pig Lady Road. They say if you drive down her street, you can even hear her wailing in the distance. Or, like, jumping onto the hood of your car. Depends on how believable you want the story to be.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, so
yeah. I think those are...
That's what I got, gang.
Nice. Yeah, I think those are, like, three rather different spirits of vengeance.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of different ones. But the one thing, well, because we don't have an origin for the Duchess of Duckworth.
Based on my this is more of an assumption thing, but like based on the other stories that I was hearing on the hike, it was probably that she was either a young lady of the night or was herself like abused or like killed in a after being used, basically. Because there's a lot of that apparently in Newfoundland's bloody history.
God damn.
Because remember, it's a port town, so there's a lot of sailors and a lot of crappy shit like that. It's unfortunate. Yeah. So my guess is that that's her origin for that, but.
That is fair. I feel like that is a logical conclusion based on sort of how vengeful spirit stories come to be. And definitely the thing that is the most common, I feel like this is just like what makes a vengeance spirit is like a history of abuse or like something, an unfair circumstance that leads to tragedy. I feel like
there needs to
important.
be something to be revengeful about.
Exactly, yeah. And there was like in its past anyway, like back when it was like first kind of becoming a thing, like a town or in a city, there was like a very distinct poor ward, essentially. Like it was, it was actually one of the first places when the cities had like 3 or 4 fires, like major fires in its history. It's basically the first to go. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, it was an interesting thing. Like, there are whole roads and, like, neighborhoods that are just built on mass graves in St. John's. So.
I mean, let's face it, both of our countries are built on mass graves.
That's true.
Like, that's just how it be.
Yeah.
So, do we want to, like, so then I guess the question is, are we, because clearly the stock is a vengeance spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that the time for vengeance spirits is coming back. After, the craze of adapting Japanese horror movies died down, I do think that the concept of vengeance spirits did sort of start to become more ingrained in, like, the mainstream culture of North America, where these sort of things became more prevalent. But now that it's sort of died down again, I do think that the time is strike to hit with an original IP that is a vengeance spirit.
Yeah, for sure. Because like the last couple of years we've had a lot of Victorian vengeful spirits to a degree with Lady in Black, I believe, is a vengeful or is at least a murderous spirit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's Daniel Radcliffe, right?
Yeah. And then there was Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak, which
I haven't catched that yet. Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's very Guillermo del Toro. In that it's pretty.
Praise.
It is.
That is a point of praise to me.
It's very pretty.
I've heard that it is a bit more of like a bit more romantic.
Yes.
Than a lot of people were expecting. That's why it got a lot of like.
Yeah, it got a little bit of a flack because it's not really a horror movie. It's more on the romantic side of like a Victorian Gothic like horror. So,
okay, so it's like goth romance.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Like there's definitely some creepy imagery and there's some horror elements in it because it is a Victorian Gothic horror like ghost story. But it does focus a lot on a romance plot.
I'm fine with that. I feel like horror should have more romance.
Yeah.
Provided that it is handled tastefully.
Yeah.
American filmmakers. I'm looking at you, Roth.
Had to record. Had to make
the
a
ghosts
remake.
in Crimson Peak are like super cool looking though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll see if I can catch it at some point. Get a Reddit box.
Also, not to tote my own province, but it was filmed in southern Ontario.
Ooh, fancy. Look at you.
Yeah.
So what's the play here, boss? Do we want to see which one of these 3 spooky spirits we can jam into a piece of fiction, or do we want to make something. I want to know what you two want to do, because I'm just here to accommodate.
I'd be down for seeing like what we have ideas for, like for using these in either a story or again, like since we are all kind of into tabletop gaming and stuff like that, like a scenario. Because I've definitely used the Duchess for a scenario previously. So, is that okay, guys?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that works.
I like the Duchess. I want to touch on the Duchess in a game because I am very strongly a fan of like strong anti-patriarchy narratives, and I feel like that could be an interesting needle to thread with the Duchess because she is so firmly rooted in stomping out literal monsters that I would consider her a good spirit. But in the same breath, I'm also not sure I'm down with, like, commodifying that being a dude myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to fucking play a game about... You could probably run a killer Monster Hearts game that's just all about shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm trying to think what we could do for a Glaystig.
Okay.
And part of me has an idea, and let me throw this out there and see if we want to go down this path. But you know how like rich crazy people will like buy a castle and then move
Like Xanatos for gargoyles?
Yeah, like they will buy a castle and then move it to someplace else, and like they have to deconstruct and then reconstruct the castle brick by brick.
God,
as
is that
like
actually a thing that
doing
people do?
that with a haunted castle.
Yeah,
that has like a green lady in it, and then having to deal with that.
The question is, are they moving it specifically because of the ghost, like a la 13 Ghosts? Or are we moving it and we are unaware that it is haunted? Because I personally think that it's more interesting for this motherfucker to move the ghost intentionally just to stir the pot.
It's like, listen, guys, I want to know if ghosts are real, so I'm transplanting this entire castle to a cordoned off area to research.
Yeah, something like that. I think that would definitely be interesting.
Yeah, and then does he concede?
I like it,
does he
and I do want to play in that space.
Yeah, and does he like cover that up, like the fact that he's doing it, like, his reasons for doing that, and just have like, oh yes, come visit this castle. I've imported it from Scotland, and then like just have like people like just observe like how the ghost interacts with the victims as they come in to the castle,
right? Because apparently with the Green Lady, there's a bunch, like, obviously, because it's, like, a ghost story from, like, an entire country.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different, like, variations on, like, their attitudes. So, like, some of them can be, like, kind of benign or even, like, nurturing to, like, older people and stuff like that. Or, like, people that have, like, mental issues. And then some of them apparently are, like, vengeful and stuff like that. So you could even have something that's, like, a ghost who is like looking after, obviously they died because of some sort of like, as a ghost does, they're created in a death of passion kind of thing. So they could be looking after one particular type of people and then defensive against another inside of this particular like house or castle.
So then, okay, so then what if it's like kind of a board gamey or maybe like a Powered by the Apocalypse game where all of the players except for one are people that the spirit has to protect or whatever.
Right.
And then one or maybe like a collective of the players are controlling the spirit, and they have to work to counter the machinations of the game master who is running the characters that are trying to harm these people. So it becomes this sort of like three-way conflict of misunderstanding.
That definitely sounds interesting. Yeah. So
like
you would have like the
one shot.
Yeah, that would definitely work as sort of like maybe a one shot or even just like a storytelling kind of game. Yeah, like you could have, like you say, the GM would have like maybe people trying to come in and either harm the other players or harm the castle itself, which would then affect like the spirits.
Harming the castle, I feel like, is the way that you could destroy or disperse the spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like remove its
So then
foci.
maybe that's their objective. So then the person who moves it here, maybe they're not they're just sort of interested in seeing what happens. Maybe they've sort of like rigged the deck so that way there's like, peril for the people, for the good people who have been put in there, and that is in the form of these monsters. And he does just want to see this spirit deal with these monstrous humans and sort of see what happens.
Yeah.
One of those weird monitoring situations.
A foyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see we have two human like kind of groups in the castle at the time. It's like the people that were brought in like as victims, and then there's like another group of people that are just like horrible people that are the actual like bait for the ghost. Was that it?
Oh hell yes!
Like he brings in some get some criminal types, and just tells them to like have fun in the castle, and then brings in this like test group that's like basically the bait for the criminals, and the criminals are the bait for the ghost. Like it's actually similar to how the game I ran for the Duchess of Duckworth, which was in a Call of Cthulhu kind of scenario. The guys to lure her out, they faked they faked a racy kind of scene, like in that alleyway, to kind of bring her out, to find out what was going on. It was like basically like the girl was basically pretending to be in distress by a guy. So
my question is, why? So like I Kyle want this ghost. Unless this ghost is also killing innocent people, I guess my question would be, what was the impetus for your investigators to get rid of that ghost?
Really, they were trying to figure out, they were investigating ghosts, so they wanted to know what it was doing, like why it was there, and kind of stuff like that.
Okay, so then our bait players, I feel like this would work really well, maybe less of a role-playing game and more of like almost like a Betrayal at House on the Hill kind of game, where you have bait players,
and then you secretly have people that are actually the criminals.
Exactly, you have bait players and criminal players, or maybe the criminal players are run through like an action deck or something like that. Like there's a couple of board games that I've seen that are GM-less like that.
Yeah.
And then there are conditions for the ghost manifesting, and maybe there's like a randomizer element to like determine whether or not the ghost is also dangerous for the bait people. Like, because there are things that the criminals can do that like enrage it and just make it attack anyone it sees.
Or maybe give the bait people for the criminals give a couple of them, or like have some of them have a random secret that like a sin of the past kind of thing that they're like they've gotten over, or like it was something, but the ghost picks up on that.
Okay, hold on.
like
Before
that.
we go any further, I just want to say TM, copyright.
Yeah, TM. This is ours now. I do really like it.
Yeah.
So TM, November 17th, 2018.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't keep this down.
I do like, like the card, like the randomized cardy mechanics of it are actually very interesting. Now the question is this a 2v2 game where it's like two players control the villains and 2 players control the investigators, and then a randomized set of cards controls the spirits, and like the spirit has card effects that make players reveal their secrets.
Yeah.
And then, the criminals can do stuff that makes people reveal their secrets. Like, there are ways to make this information known, so that way it becomes almost like secret Hitlery, where you have to figure out which one of you is bait and which one of you is an actual investigator. Like, who's a victim and who's, justifiably murderable.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think the ghost should not be like played by anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I think it has to be like kind of a force rather than
like you were saying. I know with like the Dark Souls board game and Kingdom Death Monster and a couple other games, they have like they call it an AI deck, where it's just like a deck of behaviors for like this one particular thing, and like you just play out of that for like the castle or the spirit or whatever you want to call it.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I'm almost getting a maybe if you don't want to do quite the adversarial criminal and like victim kind of thing, but maybe more of this is going to be kind of weird the way I put it, but like, have you ever seen the movie Clue?
I want to.
Yeah.
I need to get see that movie.
Where it's everybody has like information on everybody else.
Nice.
Kind of thing, where everybody has sort of, and like everybody has like a one up on at least one other person, or there are like event cards that would potentially like expose a secret or something like that.
So there are murder mystery party mechanics, that I think would slot in very nicely, which are the characters sort of come pre-made or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get information, and of course we would need to find a way to like transform this into something that would create replayability, so they can't, like, I don't think static is the way to go.
No, I definitely think like all the secrets or whatever you would have on other people would be like little cards you would put on like your character's sheet or something like that. So
okay, so they aren't
it would basically
the
say
time.
you have this information on this other player character, and you could swap them between like playthroughs or whatever.
Yeah, like even like in the setup phase of the game, so like in the murder mystery thing, it's like, oh, you're playing a spy, you're playing like a James Bond XP. Well, you also are aware that there's like a Natasha Romanov XP, and like this is that character name. So whoever is playing this character is also a spy and is also after this objective or whatever.
Right.
So maybe in the setup phase of the game, you get these, you draw from like the randomized secret decks or whatever, and, you sort of determine, you draw an amount of cards equal to the other players in the game, and then all of the players split off until, everyone's talked to everyone else, and they reveal what their card says about them, and they reveal what their card says about you, and then you sort of make a note of that, and then it sort of might change your objectives.
Yeah, and I would even think maybe you would have your player character card, you would have like your secret information you have on the other player characters, and then you would maybe even have like a thing about, like, a card that has a thing about your character that would then like either favor or I guess unfavor your character in the eyes of the ghost of the castle.
Yeah, it's like your character's big secret. And so then the ghost has, some of the ghost's powers revolve around, like, if a player has the alcoholic card, like secret alcoholic card, please reveal that secret now, or something like that. And like that would sort of push the ghost into a different direction. But like if you have the secret alcoholic card, you'll get bonus victory points or whatever if you can somehow steer the investigation into the parlor and like collect a drink token or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Also, I'm thinking for the green lady, like maybe to like again, add replayability, have more than just one Green Lady, or have one Green Lady origin, like in terms of like their like how they died, or like how like what like give them motivation, or some kind of like have different motives basically for the Green Lady.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of her traits. I was also thinking like and again back to RPGs, a Dirty World might be pretty good for this, just to like traipse it with a little bit more horror theming.
And a Dirty World would be a good one, yeah.
I could dig that.
Kind of like yeah, basically just add a supernatural like kind of antagonist or something like that feeds off of the people's secrets. And I think in that system, other people can know other people's secrets and like use that as leverage against them and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's that version of One Roll Engine very much because Dirty World and Better Angels both use that version of the system.
Gotcha.
You get advantages to your role for having like surprise or knowing secrets.
Secrets. No, you got it. You got it, Boo.
So yeah, that would definitely be kind of interesting doing a, like a sort of a horror themed version of One Roll Engine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. For if we also do a concurrent role playing game, I feel like that would be the engine. I feel like One Roll would have to be what we run with because it just would work so well.
Yeah. Damn.
I like it. But then I guess the question vis-a-vis board game is how do the players win? Because we know how they lose, and it is get murdered.
Maybe like, I don't like because like the obvious one would be like they have to escape the castle after they've gotten in. But like,
my God.
Or maybe
what if it's a period piece game?
Oh, jeez.
What if the characters are all somehow related to the death of the actual spirit?
Yeah.
That could definitely
it's
work.
like a game about making amends, even though they ultimately won't.
So it's a redemption, like
stack up to much.
Victory through redemption. Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Another thing is like, what if like another thing is like, so the castle's been like if we're going with the castle's been like rebuilt like somewhere else. What if there's like a part of like basically where the ghost like died initially, like that's like kind of its foci. So like you have to try and find out where its foci is in the castle, and it changes every game, right? Mm-hmm.
That's where the clue mechanics come in. You gather the clues in the rooms, and then you do solve the murder.
Oh no!
And then well, hold on.
Yeah.
Here it is. You do solve the murder, but based on like the rooms, the ancestor, and the method, it consults like a table a la Betrayal at House on Hill. And then the final objective is chosen off of like a concurrent chart. Yeah, and like it could be, it could be like it's like there could be like varying like kind of degrees of like how to like appease it once all those like parts are there, like from a chart, like it's either like something peacefully, like or like some kind of thing, or like a sacrifice. It's like what you need to do and where you can get it. But some of it does come down to sacrifice the most evil amongst you all, and then it becomes every person for themselves.
Exactly.
It's either go find like the hidden diary behind the brick in like this one room, or murder Joe Bob down the street.
Go get Joe Bob and do bring him back. I think we got gold here, gang. I feel like it needs to be polished out so it doesn't become overly complicated, but I think that's gem. Yeah. We got some good baseline mechanics here going.
I love it. TM again. TM. I will sue you. TM.
Do we have any other ideas for some of the other ghosts?
I was thinking of I was trying to think of things for the pig lady, and all I keep coming up with, like, I don't know if it's just because like I'm unoriginal or anything like that, but I just keep coming up with like Call of Cthulhu slasher flick.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect Monster of the Week villain.
It really is.
Make no mistake. It is a ghost. It has been shot. Some stories say that they have shot the pig lady, while like flipping through rumor sites, I did see that Weird New Jersey did post a thing, because I've been going through it now that we've gone live. I did see a thing that some people claim that her fucking head glows, which I guess is a part of the mythos now. Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, she's just a perfect cut and dry victim villain.
Yeah.
You know, I got nothing else for her. Unless we can think of something really buck wild for this character. What have you two got for my buck wild pig friend? The defense rests.
I just want to... Part of me wants to, like, somehow tie this into, like, the pork industry.
Okay, so we're going to tackle Monsanto.
Yeah. And we're going to go from New Jersey to North Carolina with all the hog farms. And
okay.
That shit got pretty wild down there, huh?
Yeah, it did.
You live in North Carolina, right?
I lived in North Carolina for a very long time, and those things have always been an issue. They will always be an issue.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't get covered in horrible toxic pig shit from the hurricane. That is good. Oof. Okay, so the pig lady, I guess, eats capitalists. Do I like the pig lady now?
Is she sure? She the hero we always needed?
Yeah, I'm starting to think that she is the hero that we need to kill the bourgeoisie and dirty capitalists. So, okay, I'm pro pig lady. I'm in. Let's do
honestly,
it.
Honestly, to be perfectly honest, she was, like, from the get-go, she was kind of a sympathetic monster. Because of her, like, origin.
I feel bad for her, based on all of the stories. There's not a single one that's like, it's just a monster. It's like, it's always a miserable creature, and it makes me sad.
Well, that's because, folklore is very much like that. Like, when they're either, like, they're representations of, like, bloody past or, like, a cautionary thing, so...
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, she's just... She could, we could do a fan fiction crossover where she hangs out with fucking Jigsaw, the only other pig-masked killer I can think of.
See, I thought you were going to say Jersey Devil.
Yeah, same.
Fuck Jersey Devil.
Sorry.
That's all anyone fucking...
I know.
Oh, hey, Kyle, you like spooky stuff in New Jersey? You want to fucking tell me about the Jersey Devil? No, dog. The Pine Barrens are boring.
They're just
I'm leaving the show now. Fuck you two.
No! Come back.
Don't do. The Jersey Devil's gonna get you.
That's the Discord hang-up.
Yeah.
Wait, it's Skype now?
No, Discord, motherfucker. God damn it, you pulled me back in. Alright, I'm still here. I was lying. I just wanted attention.
Yay. Shoot. Yeah, because, like...
Unless we turned the pig lady into much more of, like, a witch went into the woods. An evil spellcaster went into the woods with a wretched hog that had eaten someone that the mafia from New York chopped up. And then the spellcaster performed a ritual that turned the fucking hog into a horrifying monster. Like... If we remove it from its
original
child
concept,
abuse roots, then perchance we have something we can work with.
I mean,
something that's just like a big angry hoggo that's just eating children at the local elementary.
Hogzillas
why not?
are a
Hollywood
thing.
does it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that it's wrong to take inspiration, but I do think that it is wrong to exploit or appropriate certain things.
Yeah.
And if we like have a pig themed monster, that's not anything bad. It's a pig themed monster that ate a person. It ate too many people, and it became a monster, and now it's just gonna eat more people. So it's hungry hippos, except they're pigs. TM.
Damn. Bam. Yeah, it's just...
What's up? Boom. It's that, and the balls are human heads.
Oh my god.
Draw little faces on them.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, because, like...
Well, we're it's time to start our board game company.
All right.
We did it. Let's go, gang. You guys want in on BPB? I can bring y'all in. We'll publish it. It'll be great. And it won't be difficult, because working in tabletop games is not difficult.
Yeah.
Oh god, I think I taste blood. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's like,
So yeah.
I think our Green Lady was like kind of the strongest, like in terms of like doing another like for the narrative or even for like a gaming thing. Because the other ones, I don't get me wrong, I love the Duchess and I like the Pig Lady, but they kind of, those ones just kind of are like a monster of the, like, I just keep coming
They're generic.
Yeah, I just keep coming down to like a monster of the week kind of like Call of Cthulhu or like an investigative game. Like their stories themselves are fodder to put into a investigative horror game. Rather than where we have the Green Lady, where we've come up with basically 13 Ghosts meets, I actually remember a movie about a Scottish castle full of ghosts.
I'm gonna do a quick Google.
It was like, I think it was like a romantic comedy, honestly. It was like a bunch of people that traveled to the Scottish like castle, and like they were trying to, the ghosts had actually brought everybody there to break the curse of the castle.
So, my Scottish Castle ghost comedy Google search uncovered The Ghost Goes West and High Spirits. The Ghost oh fuck. The Ghost Goes West is from 1935 and is about a haunted Scottish castle that is dismantled and transported to Florida.
Oh my god. No, this one
I told you.
This is a British romantic comedy / fantasy film about a Scottish ghost that gets transplanted into Florida. Gang, we have come full fucking circle to our saying that horror needs more romance and castle ghost in America. I think we just... Okay, so that means we have to get a license. Yeah. We're going to license this as the official 2018 adaptation of The Ghost Goes West in board game. That's a big pull. Also, that's a big get if we get that, guys.
Yeah, I was thinking of High Spirits. Because it has Steve Guttenberg in it.
Listen, we don't talk about Steve fucking Guttenberg. Not in this house. Not in the eyes of God.
Like Police Academy.
It was haunted house.
Yeah.
I think Steve Guttenberg's actually a monster. I heard that somewhere. I'm gonna do another Google search.
Oh God. Oh wow. But yeah. Wow, I can't believe how like apt that was. Ghost Goes West.
Yeah. See, I've heard stories of stuff like that before, so...
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg, there is a Daily Beast article called The Devil and Steve Guttenberg, Love, Sex, Fame, and the... What the fuck? And the roller coaster from Police Academy to Ballers. There's also Steve Guttenberg was our favorite nice guy until he wasn't by Mel magazine. So
wow,
I don't know what the Goot is up to.
I mean,
I haven't read enough to confirm or deny whether or not he's a monster. But maybe we'll just do The Ghost Goes West because they're all dead.
Yeah, let's just do. Yeah. It's probably almost public domain at this point, so we can. Yeah.
Based on how Disney changed copyright laws, I sincerely doubt
is it not?
It'll be another like 15 years probably, because I think the current term is a hundo.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, listeners, check it out in 2032.
Yeah, peep this shit in 2035. The Ghost Goes West.
The board game.
Mark your calendars.
Fuck me.
When we're all living in air-conditioned bunkers.
We're all living underwater or not at all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Just is there anything else we want to take a look at?
Yeah, no. The only other thing I could bring up again for the Duchess is like basically for that game scenario I ran for. It was basically she like the characters were also able to actually eventually like astral project into the ghost world. And they found out that she was, basically, had learned blood magic and was starting up, her own little, like, territory to, like, protect in the city.
Yo, this is a fucking good ghost.
So, I made her, like a very, like, sympathetic vigilante kind of character in that scenario.
I'm and
she was only
I am pro this ghost. In fact, I do want to play this ghost.
So just Monster Hearts then.
I mean, I'll also be a monstrous playbook and monster of the week, but yeah, baby, you know it.
You tend to also do it.
We'll release the Green Lady Ghost Goes West board game, and then we'll make the Duchess of Duck. I want to keep on saying Duckburg.
Duckburg. Oh, woo.
The Duchess of Duckworth.
Duckworth. Expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duchess of Duckworth expansion. And I don't know, Kickstarter exclusive Pig Lady piece.
Yeah.
Maybe a deck of action cards for Pig Lady, too. There it is. We've done it.
Nice.
We've cracked the code. So, I believe it's been about a year since we've done this, but I believe the tradition is to rate the stock.
Yes.
What do you both believe the current stock value, I believe it was on our scale of -10 to +10.
Yeah.
That Vengeful Spirits are at now, and what do you think they will be at
In 2032.
Yes, in 2019. Do you think there's going to be an upward trend, or what?
I'm going to say,
Yep.
my estimate, and you can tell me what y'all's are, I'm going to say that Vengeful Spirits are probably at about a 3 now. And I think they are going to trend slightly upwards to maybe a 5, but I don't think they're going to get too much bigger than that for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I said earlier, with there is some media coverage of them now, and there is definitely a popularity or an interest in the when it comes to urban legends and stuff like that. So, yeah, right now I'd say probably about a 1 or 2. Not quite not in the negatives, and we are going to be getting apparently a movie based on the Woman in White that you mentioned earlier. Hopefully
boy, howdy, they sure
suck.
do pronounce it wrong all over that fucking noise. Just the whole trailer.
Yeah. So, but I think so I think it will rise probably another probably about 4 or 5 I'd give it as well.
Okay. I feel like we are all sort of in the same estimates, because I do believe that Vengeful Spirits are an evergreen. We'll get a Vengeful Spirit movie or two every year. I think the fucking Conjuring had, the Nun movie.
Yeah.
And I believe that is technically a Vengeful Spirit.
I thought it was a demon.
It might not be... spirits become demons,
Yeah,
I
that's true,
think?
yeah.
I don't watch those fucking movies. I just watch recaps.
Yeah, a bunch of those. Ever since Paranormal Activity, ghosts and demons are the same things in Hollywood's eyes. So.
That's fair.
It's the worst. But, yeah, they're an evergreen concept. I think that they will never drop into negative values, but I would say their current cultural clout is probably a 1 or a 2 as well. Over the next... 2 to 3 year projection, I think if you're investing in written media, you're gonna wanna buy, because I think that they're gonna rise to a solid 5 or 6 in written media. But if you are investing for motion pictures, then I would say invest, but don't invest too high. I only foresee them projecting at a 3.
Yeah.
And if you're investing in
The
board games,
the Green Lady goes west.
Board games are on the up and fucking up.
That's how we
gonna be a
differentiate it.
solid 10.
Yes.
Invest now.
Buy now. Actually, you know what? Donate to us on PayPal, and you will get the Star Citizen package, and we will give you updates as the board game is made. That was a successful Kickstarter, right? They did well, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, they're still making money, and they haven't made anything.
Totally
Imagine.
not a scam. So, Kickstarter.com/The Green Lady Goes West.
Green Lady Goes West. Fuck, that's a really good name, actually. If we played it like a horror comedy, though, we could have a fucking tight board game, actually. Instead of playing it for seriousness, if we played it for goofs, it could actually be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man.
We may have to talk afterward, but
Yeah. Well, I'll put you in touch with my lawyers, guys.
Yeah.
Oops, my headset scratched the microphone. So, I got nothing.
yeah, I think we've talked a lot about, we've brainstormed a pretty decent chunk. I guess it comes down to our usual thing at the end of the show, where we try and figure out what we're going to do next time.
Oh God.
Any suggestions?
I'm such a sucker for haunted dolls, but like, there's not that many. Yeah, like that scratches an itch because the movie that terrified me the most as a young lad was any cover that had a haunted doll. So like Puppet Master and Child's Play were big no-nos for me. But that turned into a morbid obsession with collecting spooky dolls as an adult. I don't collect haunted dolls, I just collect things that look creepy.
Nice. I mean, like, yeah, with like Alana Bell, or is it Alana Bell? Or no, it's Annabelle.
Alana Del Rey Bell.
Annabelle, God, I always knew Raggedy Ann dolls were scary.
Yeah, like, it's a regular ass Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, in real life.
That they turned it into this horrifying porcelain fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, like.
For the movie.
Yeah. And have you guys?
I would be more scared if it was the fucking Raggedy Ann doll, like in the movie. Could you imagine how goddamn scary that thing moving around would be?
Oh yeah,
and how much more interesting it would be. Damn, I want that movie. Hey, hit me up,
Conjuring folks.
Make that movie. I'll fund it. Yeah. What about you? My pitch, I guess, is maybe haunted dolls. What do you two want to pitch?
Well, with that one, we have. Have you guys ever heard of the Doll Island?
The one in Mexico?
Yeah. Like that is that actually like a haunted place, or is that just a creepy place?
There are people who believe it is haunted by a child's spirit that drowned in the river.
Oh, God.
And that was the first doll that was discovered.
Gotcha.
So people do believe that it is haunted, to my knowledge. Yes.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, please gently correct me.
Fair.
I'm very sensitive.
Don't worry, I'll if we get any comments in I'll just filter them.
What about y'all?
I kind of want to go back to the Appalachians, but
what's
like,
okay? I mean, I'm not terribly familiar with what's stalking old Appalachia, but I could see if I could find something neat. Do we want to set on a single thing, or do we want do another one of these like show and tells that we did this time? Because this is a new format for us.
Yeah. Yeah, because the creature I was thinking of was the now that I can't remember it, the Wompet. Hang on.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Wompet.
It's like a weird bulldog cat thing.
I keep thinking about the Penangolin, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Is that the the vampire head with the organs?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is fucking fresh.
And there's actually a movie. There is a movie that hosts it, or that used it.
Wait, what? For real?
Yeah. It's a Malaysian horror movie, or Filipino horror movie.
I'll Google it.
Not like the greatest quality, but it hosts it. I think God damn it,
it's like some Filipino or Malaysian like B horror movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally about like the Penanggalan and its like cultural equivalents in Southeast Asia.
Oh yeah, look at that Penangal. It's different than. Interesting. Oh, it's a different spelling and pronunciation of the
there's
same
a bunch
creature.
of variations on the same basic.
It's in the Malay Peninsula. Ooh.
Okay, so
I'm vaguely familiar with these. All right.
The movie is called Mystics of Bali, or The Mystics in Bali.
The Mystics in Bali. I'll put that on the watch list.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be down for that one.
Oh yeah, this is an old one too. I was looking at one from 2011. This one's the 80s. Okay, cool. What do you have anything you want to potentially want to pitch RC Cola?
Aside from that, I had that Appalachian thing, but I actually really I'm kind of
right, Appalachian.
However, now that we God, my throat.
I feel you.
Now that I bring up now that Noah's bring up the Penanggalia that
I
thing.
always said the Penanggalan.
The Penanggalan.
I doubt that's right.
I really like that idea. Like, I think I go with that one. Or there's another one, like an Aswang, I think it's called, or an Oswang, that is basically a similar creature. It's a vampire lady who pulls her upper torso off her legs and flies around like that, on bat wings.
Yeah, it's a shapeshifter, right?
Yeah. And it just to escape, it just drops its legs basically and flies into the sky.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one too.
I think it's another
it seems
Filipino
interesting.
vampire monster.
The Wampus Cat.
Cat, that's what it was.
Wampus Cat.
Also, I just want y'all to go look at the Loveland Frog.
Oh yeah,
dog.
yeah. I do.
Hold on, I got to share something with you all in the Discord when we're done. Then, because I was working on a cryptid hunting game. And I did take that picture of the Loveland Frog that you are no doubt talking about, Noah, where he's like...
And I just linked in the chat.
Did you? Yeah, and I did turn it into a charcoal drawing. So I'm going to pull that up real quick while you guys plug yourselves.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, what are we thinking for next time? The
Pangolin?
Yeah, okay. I'll be down with that.
Cool.
I mean,
and then,
yeah, sure. As long as y'all are down, then I'm down with it. Oh, I didn't turn this one into a sketch. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then maybe after that, we can take a look at some more Appalachia kind of stuff.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Sweet.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys go plug yourselves. No. By all means, let people know where they can find you.
Okay. Well, I'm Noah again, and you can find Kyle and I on Maple Syrup Blood Money. That's our Riverdale Archie Comics podcast. We're kind of working out what we want to do for Season 3 and Sabrina at the moment.
Yeah, I wanted to watch Sabrina, but the fucking mystical effect lens that they use gives me a splitting headache.
That sucks.
I cannot physically watch that show. I do not know what it is.
Yeah. So we're trying to work that out at the moment. But you can also find me on a couple other shows, the Role Playing Exchange and Technical Difficulties Gaming Podcast. If you want RPG actual plays and discussions, that's where you should go. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I'm at Kamen Otaku. That's KAMENOTAKU. I mainly just retweet a bunch of stuff from people who are much funnier and much more insightful than I.
It's a valuable service, Noah.
Yes. Kyle?
Hi. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find the group that I work with on Twitter at BPB Games, on Facebook at facebook.com/BPBgames, patreon.com/BPB Games. We do a lot of Monster of the Week horror releases. Our current big project is to create a deck of monster cards for Monster of the Week. We're the only official licensees of Monster of the Week. Oh, wow. So we're planning to move to Kickstarter once we get the PDF for Savage Tokusatsu out, with a deck of 52 non-appropriative original monster cards that you can use for your Monster of the Week game, especially because, it's difficult to do creative monsters sometimes, and we're here to help. And then you can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/bestpalbrigade. That's basically it. What about you, Review Cultist?
As usual, you guys could find me on Twitter at Review Cultist. If you'd like to comment, or whatever, the kids are saying nowadays on YouTube and shit like that. You
Smash that like button.
Yeah, God
fucking
damn
ring
it.
that motherfucking bell.
Oh, God. We are on YouTube. You can check us out at El Dante Rigamortis, where we have the videos of each episode. You can also find us on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube. Well, I just said YouTube, but or Tumblr. You can check out the title cards of each episode on crazon.deviantart.com or crazonstudios.tumblr.com. You can also leave us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. Where you can leave us suggestions for other creepypastas or monsters you'd like us to discuss on the show.
Love it.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis, where we have we have special episodes and early access. Just select the tier you'd like to support us at. And to our patrons that are already helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate that. And then I believe...
Yay! Hosting bills!
Away!
And so, I guess until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I have been your haunted guest host, Kyle Carty.
And I have been your green ghost going west, Noah Gordon.
And this
Thank you for listening.
Al Dente Rigor Mortis, Monster Stocks. Sleep well.